can you recount the story of how Kaiser's machine was formed and the initial vision that you had for it, and maybe how there has been a development along time? Can you enlighten us?
For sure. I started the band in 2015, I think, back in Helsinki, Finland, where I'm from. And that was after I had done my exchange year in New York. I moved there from Helsinki to study at the Manhattan School of Music. And at the school in New York, I didn't even write any music before going to that school, but they kind of force you to compose at the school. So every week you have to bring in a new composition to play with a band. And so
was it confronting maybe at first for you?
Oh, for sure. And because I always been writing a little bit, like have some ideas here and there and have like voice memos and little ideas, but it's a different thing to finish something and bring a sheet music in front of the band and make it playable. So yes, pretty intimidating at first, but as just like with everything when you just get some routine, you get better at it. And then after that, I of course had a lot of music with me, so I wanted to start my own project. Until that, I was mostly playing as a bass player. It's natural to play other people's music in other people's bands, but from then on I started to do more band leading.
I mean, the old school way, the bass is just part of the rhythm section and that's just it. But in this project, that has come completely to the forefront.
Yeah, pretty much. It is a rhythm section instrument, and oftentimes it's seen in the back. And it's still a pretty somewhat traditional role in my music too, but a lot more in the forefront.
So, your ensemble has been described as a blend of Nordic noir and New York, which is naturally a part of your development. And how do you balance these, what you would say, like seemingly contrasting elements of your music, and what does each element bring to the table?
The Nordic part is something I think I just have naturally, and I feel like that's the more calm and mellow and airy feeling in the music. And being in New York and being influenced by all the modern, creative, contemporary music that's going on there, and the huge range of different types of jazz music you hear there, I think it's all influenced me a lot. And just the energy of the city and the level of musicianship that's present in New York, that has brought the sort of the energetic side to the music.
And another question, did your experience in New York help you understand that Nordic nature that you already had within you? Was that also like a complement part of the process for you?
I don't know if I was aware of it like that. It's just probably something that naturally comes. But it is, I think it always happens when you leave your home country and go somewhere else, you see things a little differently. You get a new perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And taking shape, that's a title that really evokes the idea of evolution and development. And could you delve on the essence of this album and the journey it represents for you and the band?
Yeah, Taking Shape was my first album as a New Yorker, as a band leader in New York. And I had developed the music for that album for a long time. It was a slow process, so over a year probably.
Year, right.
Yeah. And that's kind of taking a fully new direction in the music. I think my first album that I recorded in Finland, it was more conventional and just kind of totally trying to find my voice, and wasn't so sure about what I'm doing. But with this one, I had a way more clear direction and knew exactly who I wanted to play with and had a clear sound in my head.
So as you started writing in New York, of course, at first, was this album completely written by you? Was there a lot of collaboration involved?
This one's all my compositions, yeah.
Yeah. So talking about your compositions, so the path of inspiration into a jazz piece can be be tricky, maybe fascinating as well. And can you walk us through your compositional process, that creative process of you from getting an idea, nurturing that idea, and finishing that idea? What is it like for you?
I normally start with a groove, or I have a sort of an idea for the general vibe or the rhythmic feel, and I think that's just, as a bass player, I'm more focused on the rhythmic side of things, and so that's normally the first thing, and then I work on the piano a lot also. So because I actually started with piano.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I switched to bass when I was around 14, I think, teenager. So
why?
Why? Well, I got to try. I think I was at school and I got to try. They had a bass at school and they let me try it. I loved it. I wasn't probably convinced until I saw. It was a music show on TV. I was watching it with my mom, and there was a female bass player. It was like, I think it was this folk band called The Course. I don't know if you know this. Irish folk. It's like siblings playing Irish folk music. Like, the music wasn't the thing, but the female bass player, I was like, that is so cool. I have to do that.
What are some of your biggest inspirations then? So The Course?
It's the one where it all started. That's for sure.
It's the one that all started.
Heavily influenced by The Course. Cannot avoid that.
Let's see if we can find some folk influences in that album.
Let's look into that. But other ones, are there other artists that you draw a lot of inspiration from for your music? And what have they taught you?
I love many kinds of things. I love Charles Mingus's music, and I love, Larry Grenadier is my bass idol. I love Kurt Rosenwinkel's writing. I also love Beyonce. I don't know. I have a really wide range of influences.
That's a vast palette of genres and influences. Yeah, fantastic. And now we're here at Jazzahead 2024. How do you go out and prepare for such an event, and how does Jazzahead differ from other gigs from you? Can you tell a little bit about your preparation process?
Sure. I actually was lucky to have a little tour around this showcase gig, so I started in Switzerland a couple of days ago, and we played in Berlin the other night, and now we're continuing in Germany and then going to Sweden and Finland. So that makes it feel a lot more natural just to come in and do a 30-minute showcase, as opposed to just coming in and having to make it all happen in this short period of time. So it just feels like one of the concerts of the tour, which makes it a lot better.
Right, cool. So so moving on to innovation, which is constantly a constant part of jazz as a music style. Could you give us an insight into how you've explored new territories or sound or concepts in your music, and perhaps with an example of your latest work?
I do get a lot of.
It's the fans.
It's the fans. Gotta say hi.
I do listen to a lot of music, and I feel like many times when I hear something, I kind of make a mental note or a voice memo, and I keep it, and that's just where I kind of always start when I have some time for writing. For me, it's never really. I've never had the experience of like just being suddenly inspired and then I have a full composition. Like, it's work, sort of. Like, I have to make it happen, and I have to have these ideas ready to go. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, you and your band, you have performed around the world in most prestigious jazz venues and festivals. Is there a particular event, a particular concert moment that's especially memorable to you as a pivotal moment?
So many, I feel like. Some of the ones I did in New York, some of my first gig as a band leader in New York were really important. There's this great club, Smalls, that It's really like an established center of jazz in New York City, and it was a big dream to always play there. So that was a huge moment when I got to do that. And then some of the first bigger European venues and festivals have been really nice. I really love playing at the BIM House. That was also a big dream of mine.
It's a fantastic location in the Netherlands for sure.
Are there any moments that really triggered some special development when you look at your music now and a few years ago?
I think it's been mostly just being in New York and hearing all the different music that's present there. Maybe not necessarily a specific moment, but just the years that I've been there now, which is good like 7 years or something. Just hearing everything that's going on there, I think, is the main thing.
And talking about the music industry, that can be a challenging one to navigate, and that's one that's constantly changing, and especially for jazz artists as well. And what has been your strategy to build your career as a musical leader as well, as a band leader, but also as someone that keeps on moving forward? And what advice would you give for emerging jazz artists?
It's something I've just learned by doing, I feel like, and I've done a lot of studying. I studied in Helsinki at the Sibelius Academy, and I did Manhattan School of Music. Like, I'm a very educated jazz musician, but the crazy part is that they don't talk about the industry at all. Like, you have all these. You can be a super advanced musician, but you don't know anything about how the industry works. And that's so that I feel like I've just had to learn that by doing. And I think one of the most important things that I've learned is that absolutely no one's gonna come get you. Like, you're gonna have to do the work yourself and get yourself out there and come to a place like Jazzahead and meet people and always just keep pushing it. Like, it's really, even doesn't matter on what level you are, it's still, you have to do the work.
So basically, educate yourself about what the music industry is as well, and what goals you have in such an event as Jazzahead, for example.
This is a great segue. What are your goals coming to an event like this? How do you prepare for the business part, the trade fair of Jazzahead?
I was here a year ago for the first time, and I kind of managed to meet a lot of great people and make some networks, and I realized that it's a pretty real thing that when you talk to someone in person and you make a nice connection, it might help you further later in life. So that's one of my goals this year too, just to get to know more people. And as of now, I'm doing everything by myself. I don't have a management or agent or things like that. So that's my other goal specifically, looking for.
A lot of responsibility.
Right, yeah. So I'm at the point where I'm starting to need some help with that. So I'm looking for some collaborations.
Fantastic. Well, Kaisa, thank you so much for your presence here during Jazzahead 2024 and answering these questions. It's been a real pleasure. We have one last one for you, and with your upcoming dates across Europe and US, what are you most looking forward to, and how do you prepare for such events? And do you have upcoming music that's
Give
coming?
us a little insight in the near future.
It's time to plug.
Sure. I have some more touring coming up this year, and that's my favorite thing, just taking the band on the road and doing that for a week or two. I love that. And some festivals this summer. I'm really looking forward to North Sea Jazz. And
That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool.
that's going to be really fun. And I'm actually recording at the end of June in New York. I'm doing another recording that will probably come out in 2025. So yes, we'll be composing also in the next couple months. We'll be working hard on my compositions and arrangements.
Fantastic. Well, Kaisa's Machine, thank you very much for your presence. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for answering the questions, and all the luck in the world during Jazzahead
Thank you,
2024.
and enjoy the rest of the fair.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.